Chungha has positioned herself within a nearly unoccupied musical niche in K-pop. There are not many active artists in the industry today that I can think of, group or soloist, that could embody a performance piece track as well as Chungha does. House, club, and ballroom beats have experienced a huge surge in the K-pop industry for quite a while at this point, certainly in the last 5 or so years, but very few are able to take the delivery and performance execution to Chungha's level. She's genuinely in a league of her own. Stress rounds out Chungha's musical style within this genre, but the final product that is Stress seems a little subdued, both for Chungha and the styles it pulls from. It's certainly not as bombastic as her previous ventures into these territories. I think that's for a lot of reasons, but primarily, I think it's because this song, different from the previous, is the first that's intended to be a fully realized and promoted single. Stay Tonight, Dream of You, and I'm Ready were all designated as side tracks. They were promoted with visuals, but not prioritized for active promotion. And as I said last time, imagine waking up at 4 a.m. to do the I'm Ready choreography on music shows. It's just not a good match for the K-pop industry, maybe even a little dangerous. Stress meets at a pretty comfortable intersection of Yes and by Ariana Grande, tinged with remnants of Break My Soul by Beyonce and Enigma by Lady Gaga, all of which pull very faithfully from the 70s, 80s, and especially 90s roots of house music. Of these three, I think Beyonce's exploration into the house genre is the most well-researched. It taps straight into the 90s house style of New York City, and despite it being mid-tempo, develops a sense of necessary dynamic or intensity through its changing and evolving song sections, leading us to, of course, the culminating key change in the final act of the song. But this is what Beyonce was setting out to do, pulling from a specific aspect of culture and history to represent a larger idea in the body of work that is Renaissance. Chungha, on the other hand, approaches the genre of house music with a different perspective, in a different context, being the K-pop industry. In an interview with Vulture, Chungha credits her relationship to house music spurring from how fans think it's a music style that fits her very well. Stay Tonight was largely a testing ground to see if it worked, and as we know today, it very much does. This is a sound and style that matches Chungha as an artist extremely well, but in some ways is beginning to seem like it has the potential to limit her. Chungha is already a key figure involved with and promoting the rapidly developing ballroom culture in South Korea. Her artistic development as an idol in training under the instruction of Love Lan, who is pretty much the prominent figure when it comes to voguing in Korea, as well as the fateful moments of Stay Tonight, are all what ultimately led her to discovering a love for house music. Stress culminates all of this quite nicely, pushing these aspects of her artistry as the flagship feature of a new project for the first time. This entire project, the Alivio album, expands the tenets of the artist that is Chungha, but allows her to finally take liberties to explore new territories of music production. That's largely what this album means to Chungha and why it's taken quite a while for it to be released. Chungha continues to strive to express herself authentically, a goal that is certainly more tangible as she develops more control over her career under a new label. It works, in my opinion. The trajectory of Chungha's career in the K-pop industry and the limitations placed upon her throughout most of that time, combined with her newfound sense of agency, being able to ask for a break and actually being able to take one, adds such an excellent dimension to the album's concept of relief. Chungha has more than earned a position like this in the music industry. I think the Alivio album works as a solid first standard album project under a new label, though, as I said, I'm growing a little worried that house music could come to limit her in some ways. I hope she doesn't feel pressured to continue down this path if her desire is to explore her sound somewhere completely different. Dance house is such a nice fit for Chungha, but as a fan, I want her to continue to seek out what makes her creatively inspired and excited to be an artist. I want her to feel comfortable with this idea on behalf of us as fans. I think my ideas about this, or my worry, comes from considering the reception that Eeny Meeny got. I'm Ready was a strong preference for most people, myself included, but I don't want the preferences of us as fans to take precedence over her own artistry. I'm afraid that the complaints from fans and the K-pop fan base in general were a little loud in regards to that, so prioritizing her own creative ones is my wish for Chungha going forward. If the Eeny Meeny EP cracked open the door to this new Chungha, Alivio swings it fully open. Stress and its subdued nature musically sees Chungha returning to the stage with a noticeable sense of ease. Alivio, the album, now sees Chungha reconciling with her near decade-long history as an artist, taking to the stage and trusting in herself to deliver a meaningful performance with more production dynamic this time. Stress, as the title track, heralds in all of these ideas, using a house beat framework to outline that it's time to deconstruct what causes you to be the most stressed. What concerns or worries you the most is likely the force in your life that is preventing you from living life to its fullest. So Chungha outlines that taking these issues head on and working to let go of what troubles you is ideal. Conceptually, it is a great foundational project to build the rest of her career with all of this in mind. Alivio works to realize her want to be more vulnerable as an artist, which certainly makes me excited to see where she goes next. The album's 8 tracks explore many different musical territories, narratively revolving around Chungha's personal feelings and ideas about love, what she's personally looking for in a relationship, as well as tracks with messages to fans on songs like Beat of My Heart, a surprisingly upbeat drum and bass track that details the relationship she's had with Hearts, her fans, throughout the entirety of her career. We go from R&B to retro dance, pop punk, electropop, and finish off, oddly enough, with adapted samplings of classical music. It all musically reminds me of the odd people you may find sitting next to you in a yoga class, each song with their own stories to tell in the midst of this lesson on relieving stress. Everyone is here in this metaphorical yoga lesson. Every song has its purpose to make up this album's concept. My favorite tracks right now are Salty, that's the song that features Sunmi. It's a very nice, I guess, retro-esque electropop track with incredible melodies and an overall sentiment about leaning into the things that you feel, kind of justifying what it means to be emotional or upset as obviously a part of what it means to be human. It gives credence to feeling things in a broad sense, I guess. I also really like Beat of My Heart. I would love to see Chungha explore more of this drum and bass sound in the future. I think it's a style that also suits her voice really well, but also, honestly, at this point, I guess the overarching message here is that Chungha possesses such a vocal dynamic to really be able to take on any genre she likes. She's able to adapt so well, which is the reason why I think she is, in a lot of ways, the #1 soloist in K-pop right now. But yeah, these are my initial thoughts on the album. It's a great exploration of various music styles, primarily house music as it relates to Chungha's relationship to the genre, ballroom culture in Korea, and just her experiences as an artist in the industry. It all makes sense to me. I really, really like this project. But yeah, thank you for watching this. If you did, let me know what you think about this. What are your thoughts on Stress, the upcoming single, Thanks for the Memories, the album as a whole, and so on. Thank you again for watching this. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.